of your favorite radio show, Parrot Xtra are on radio. Ayekooto on radio. Yes, I'm not alone here. The studio is full. Everybody wants to see our guest, our celebrity guest, who is powerfully seated here beside me. Desmond Ige, Desmond Adeboyega. I'm the only one that can mention these three names, and I'm sure one of these days you are going to pay me. Okay, our guest is here to support you. Okay, God bless you. Our studio engineer is Desmond Ige. He's here and he's always there for me. God bless you. Thank you very much. Oh, so no time to check time. Like I said, we have to really double up and make use of our time judiciously. This is the only true magazine show we have in this part of Nigeria. Parrot Xtra on radio. We speak about politics, we speak about religion, we speak about the society, we speak about sports, we discuss health too. We are here live on Splash FM 1055, 105.5 FM. It's another great day, June 28th, year 2022. I appreciate our crew members too from Parrot Xtra Media Network. IBK, that's our new. So on this show we speak both Yoruba and English. It depends on how the inspiration comes. So we just want you to understand what we are telling you. We want to communicate the communication, and I believe you've been enjoying us over the years. We thank you for always being there for us, for tuning into this show. Today is going to be, because the celebrity guest we have here, like I said, is powerfully seated beside me here. We want to make use of our time and make sure that we do all we're supposed to do within this stipulated time. Our most prized segment that we are always not really harping too much about the segment. I'll mention it for the benefit of our guest here too. We have this segment we call Parrot Special Children. We use the radio to locate and identify extremely brilliant and indigent public primary and secondary school students and pupils. And the past 2 years, we've been, the little our friends have been giving us, we've been sharing among them to just encourage them in school. Okay, I think I remember the last school we went to, New CNS New Eden Primary School, schools 1 and 2, Bola Ige. We got 2 children there that we sent bags and books and biros, rulers and everything to them. Mrs. Oshifolaju Bukola, School 1. Okay, thank you very much for your cooperation. Mrs. Olashupo Idiat, School 2. Thank you for your cooperation too. We believe, I think you were talking about one other child that we're supposed to, okay, we'll sort it out by the grace of God. God will be with us. We thank our donors, Mr. Adebayo Moses of Cruiser Lounge. We thank you for always supporting us, but we'll be with you shortly to renegotiate and renew what you are supposed to do for us. We also thank Mr. Tunde Adebite of Adebite and Associates, Estate Surveyor and Valuers Place in Lagos, Port Harcourt, Uyo, Abuja, and Ibadan, Omo, Ibadan, Gogoni. He is sponsoring one child on behalf of his parents. God bless you. Thank you very much, Mr. Tunde Adebite. We will allow 1 or 2 people. Anyway, if you want to draw attention to any child, all you need to do is just send an SMS or a WhatsApp message to my number 0805 500 1736 0805 500 1736. Desmond Mutiri Nkotoni Abachimani Deni. Thank you very much. Our guest is here, and I want to move as fast as possible. As you know, it's a tradition here for us to introduce our celebrity guests. The same protocol will be followed here today. So our guest today is architect Muyiwa, a former commissioner for lands, physical planning and urban development in Osun State, but you people call it Osun State of Osun when you are there, but you are in Oyo State now. So, former commissioner in Osun State is also the Arole, the Daudu of the Bola Ige dynasty. We're sure you understand what I'm trying to say. And it's also a Chicago America's trained architect. One of the very best we have in this part of Nigeria. So you're welcome to this show, sir.
Good morning, and good morning to all our listeners.
Okay, good morning, sir. This rescue me. Lórí tí ọ̀gbẹ́ni ìbá tó bá gba òyìnbó sílẹ̀ báyìí aláàmà bílò mọ gbogbo wa táwa ń bí báyìí.
Dictionary Yorùbá náà wà.
Mo gbé lọ màá gbé dictionary Desmond gba abẹ́ tébù ẹ̀. Ẹ̀yin dá ìgbọ́ wa nílé bí mo ṣe sọ àti Yorùbá àtẹ̀lé ètò láti máa ṣe ètò lónìí. Àlejò wa pàtàkì bí mo ṣe sọ ọmọ bàbá wa létí Bola Ige ni àlejò wa pàtàkì tó wà lórí ètò pẹ̀lú mi. Mi tí ìsìtàrúkọ mi Desmond ló sọ fún mi Ọláyínká Agboola lórúkọ tèmi a lot of people call me Mr. Parrot. Ọmọ Agugu ọmọ Ọládìjì Ezekiel Ọládìjì Agboola baba action boy ọmọ tíṣà. So now you are here with us now really on behalf of management and staff of both Lagelu FM and Splash FM. We really appreciate your squeezing out some time out of your busy schedule to be here with us today. We appreciate. Thank you very much, sir. So, where do I start? There's more than one meaning. Okay, there's this question I'm always thrilled and excited to ask you. Being a son of a governor in those days, how did it make you feel? You know, Blackbara, she flex muscle. I'm a governor. Hey, yeah, for me, you know, man, siren. Bodyguards.
No.
How did this feel that time?
Well, look, to God be the glory. My father was the first executive governor of Oyo State, dating back 43 years ago. So if we were to check the numbers, I was only 12 at the time. And so the issue of saying, we were children, and basically we were in school. Our parents were very, very open and free. So the whole issue of Agbara, it's only in recent climb that people are making
a child of a governor.
No, making service something that is extraordinary. Service. That's what it is. You're a servant of the people. And I would say that my father really served when he was governor. And that's why his legacy continues to live on. I mean, when he was governor, he had free education, free health services as part of the 4 cardinal programs of the Unity Party of Nigeria at the time. And so the issue of self-aggrandizement never even featured. I mean, they wanted to serve the people, and they served well.
They served well. So what would you describe what growing up was like that time?
We were just young children. We were mommy and daddy. And we were children, yes. And then my mum was a judge at the time.
Okay.
So somebody who was a judge, whose husband was the chief executive of the state. And interestingly, my father would always say something that my mum, who people would always call my lord, who is his own lady.
Okay.
So we just thank God for a goodly heritage and for good parentage. And my parents were fantastic people. So, and we were well brought up.
Okay, what would you say is the most important memory of your dad, Chief Bola Ige, that you will carry around and never forget?
Constant advice and conversations that we always had. And the fact that he always remembers everything. Your birthday, he would call you at midnight. And so that phone call at midnight that, well, we're not getting anymore, or even friends and people that he knew, he would call them to wish them and their children happy birthday at midnight. And so it's just that fatherly relationship. And he didn't really ask to die. So it's quite unfortunate. I mean, 21 odd years ago, 20 and a half years ago, was when the Dastardly Act was done. And but his legacy lives on. He lived a good life. I mean, he's one of those people that you want to sit at his feet to listen to him,
to grab
experiences, advice, and just listen to him just speak.
In one or two sentences, how would you describe him?
A great man.
A great man. If you're just joining in, the program is still Parrot Xtra on radio, Ayekooto on radio, and it's Splash 105.5 FM, the most listened to radio station in this part of Nigeria. And what's that? Desmond Abi, 15 years on Shere. Anyway, we want to go on this short break. The guest I have with me is architect Muyiwa Ige, the son of late Chief Bola Ige. We want to discuss so much, but we still must go on this very short break. We'll be right back. Stay with us. To Ayekooto on radio, Parrot Xtra on radio, and the station is Splash 105.5 FM. My guest is still here with me, architect Muyiwa Ige. Desmond, what do I go for my new work on them? All right. So, as we were discussing before we went on break, we are now doing kurukere for another president to be voted in, or well, to be brought in, whichever way. And everybody's busy. Nobody seems to be talking about finding the killers of your late dad. Does this bother you?
Well, it should bother everybody. So it's not only to be within the purview of the family. It should bother everyone that the chief law officer will be gone down in his private space, and 21 years later, we're still saying that we can't find the killer. Although there was a shenanigan of a trial, prime suspects were picked up, locked up. Some of them became senators from Agodi prison, and all kinds of shenanigans. The star witness who was in the same cell with the prime suspect recanted, and obviously they threw the case. The government, when it changed hands from an AD government to a PDP government, decided to file nolle prosequi on behalf of the suspects. So the whole thing was just a charade, basically. But the truth of the matter is, they know themselves, and we truly believe that sooner or later they'll be outed.
They know themselves, but will you want to tell our listeners here now what the family is doing in the real sense of the word to ensure that he gets justice?
Well, there's not much the family can do. The family cannot prosecute. It's the state that prosecutes, because it's a capital offense. Murder is a capital offense. The best the family can do is continue to sing one bere bako, to do the needful. And we continue to do that. And not only the family, but friends and associates, those that believe in the ideology of Bola Ige, and believe that all these unresolved murders must be sorted out.
All these unresolved murders must be sorted out. Now, Chief B.C. Akonde recently launched a book, My Participations. He made some revelations. From your own point of view, what do you think he was trying to do concerning the...
They have to be more specific.
Concerning about the death of your late dad.
No, precise. If you read the book, he was giving his own account. Number one, if you recall, he was secretary to the government in my dad's administration initially.
Yes.
And then during the period of the crisis in 1982, he became deputy governor. And so obviously he had and still has a lot of information about the governance at the time. And then years later, he became also the governor of Osun State. And then obviously with all the crisis that was going on in Osun. Now, more importantly, his account, I would say, was relatively factual, because even I was mentioned in the book on the 23rd of December, when he had arrived in Lagos on his way back to Ibadan, through Ibadan back to Osogbo to Esaoke, because we were to have been in Esa that day. I placed a call. I reached out to Ogushola
okay.
that we weren't going to be in SLK, that we were going to be in Ibadan. We would go to SLK the next day. So his account is actually factual. It's just unfortunate that what happened on that day happened. So I wouldn't say any more than that. Go and read the book.
It's unfortunate that what happened that day happened. But you were a commissioner during the first term of Ogbeni Ralph.
Yes. 11 years ago.
11 years ago. That means that time you were in government.
Yeah,
as a commissioner, you were in government.
Well,
so what efforts did you put in to convince your principal, the governor at that time, to continue the search for the killers of your leader?
Right.
You were in government as a commissioner. You were.
I was a commissioner, one of the 12 in the administration of Ogbeni Ralph in 2011, August 12th to be precise, was when we were sworn in. Look, what I did at the time was to encourage the government of Oyo State and the government of Osun to dust up the files.
Okay.
Now, if you recall, on the 15th of December, there was an assault on my father at the palace in Ife. So I said, well, even though the murder was committed in another jurisdiction, pick up the assault issue and let's interrogate that. And those that removed my father's cap and removed his necklace and his glasses, and that was a precursor to the murder.
Yes.
Let's even start with the assault. Let's carry on with that, and then encourage Oyo State government also to push ahead, since it was it later became an ACN government thereafter of Jimobi. I believe the attorneys generals got together, but the truth of the matter is it appears that they may have even lost the files, or the will was not there on all sides, which is unfortunate. But again, we'll continue to see one very Paco.
Àlejò ẹ má bínú.
Bola Ige ló kàn ń gbà yẹn.
Àwọn ló kàn
àwọn náà.
Nígbà yẹn, Ọlọ́run má jẹ́ kó kàn àwọn náà nísìnyí. Ó dà kò burú. Èmi fẹ́ béèrè lọ́wọ́ yín bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ni wọ́n ti sọ àwọn òwe tán kó jọ tán fi ń ṣe ìwádìí ìgbà yẹn ẹni wọ́n ti sọnù pé bóyá wọ́n ti sọnù. Ọ̀dà kí ni wá ní family ẹbí wọ́n wò ṣé ẹ fẹ́ give up ní ẹ fẹ́ pé wọ́n ṣe é sì rò pé àwọn tó ṣerú iṣẹ́ láabi yìí ọwọ́ ọ̀sìn ló ìjọba sì lè mú wọn. Ṣé ẹ bẹ́ẹ̀?
Kò bá jẹ́ ẹgbẹ̀rún ọdún tọ́lọ́ wà lórí ìfẹ́ ẹ pé ẹ̀jẹ̀ máa ń rùn nǹkan dẹ̀ ni kéèyàn gbẹ̀mí èèyàn àwọn náà ní róòrùn sùn.
Abiyamọ ìṣèpè.
No, ìpè kọ àdúrà ni.
Àdúrà ni.
Ok jẹ́ kí n sọ ọ̀gbọ̀gbọ́n làbókè kókókó làbókúta ayọ́kú ni wọ́n pa mádà afẹ́fẹ́ lẹ́lẹ́ lọ́ba alẹ́ ayé ẹ̀fúùfù lẹ́lẹ́ lọ́ba òkè ọlọ́run lódùmarè tí kì í kùnà á gbé gbogbo wọn jáde sí wa ojú gbogbo wa náà ló máa ṣe.
Àdúrà ni
ẹ ṣàmì.
Ó dáa kò burú Ọlọ́run wà pẹ̀lú wa Ọlọ́run á máa gbàdúrà gbogbo wa. Nígbà tí ẹ ṣe alábòójútó ní ọ̀rọ̀ ilẹ̀ nǹkan nínú ìjọba ọ̀gbẹ́ni Arẹ́gbẹ́ṣọlá nígbà yẹn, nígbà tí wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe sáà kejì wọn wà á mú yín mọ́.
Kò ń ṣe ìdílé.
Sẹ́yìn lẹ gbọ́ ọ̀tá ń bẹ̀ ni àbí àwọn náà ní kẹ́ máa lọ gbé kẹ̀kẹ́ yín lọ wọn ọba yín ṣeré mọ́.
Èyí tó ń pè mí sí gan wọ́n pè mí sí mi ò wá wọ́n ní pé ká wá sin ìlú.
ẹ̀yà àyẹ̀wò.
Mo dẹ̀ fọwọ́ sọ̀yà wípé láàárín ọdún mẹ́ta àbí pẹ̀lú pé tèdí ẹ̀ sí tèmi fi ṣiṣẹ́ o mo làkàkà mo ṣe tẹ̀ báyìí máa yẹra mi pé a gbìyànjú díẹ̀.
Ìwọ̀n àtọ́lọ́run yín ẹ ṣe.
Ara nǹkan tá a ṣe sílẹ̀ Ọlọ́run àánú rẹ̀ ó bu ìkún wa ń bẹ̀.
Ó bu ìkún yín bẹ̀. Ó dà kò burú. Ṣé bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe bá a ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ nísìn ẹ ti fúnra yín ní òṣùwọ̀n pé mo ṣe dáadáa ní.
Nígbà tó sọ pé tó bá yìn mí máa yẹra gbogbo àkọọ́lẹ̀ wà.
Àkọọ́lẹ̀ wà.
I was commissioner for lands and at the time we embarked on an urban renewal initiative that was for 9 cities. This was part of the Ogbeni Pact with the people of Osun. And thereafter, the state, unprecedented, embarked on structure plans for 9 cities. It's never been done by any subnational government in the world. I even made presentations in Europe to try to, call attention to what was happening in that small subnational government called Osun, that intelligent people can come together and demonstrate capacity. And that's what service is all about. My father always said, if you have the opportunity to serve, make sure you serve well. And I can say that I gave it 100%, gave it my all.
You gave it your all. We are going to still talk about your involvement in politics. We are still going to talk about what you are doing now, or whether you are in politics today or you want to. So don't look. We want to go on this short break. My name is still Bola Ige. The program is Parrot Xtra on radio, Ayekooto on radio, and my guest has been Muyiwa Ige, architect Muyiwa Ige. We will be right back. Don't go anywhere. On radio, our guest with me has been architect Muyiwa Ige. We were talking about his political standing today. Today, architect, will you say you are still in politics?
I would say that I'm a stakeholder, and we have an active role to play in ensuring that at least this democracy stays on. However,
because in your state, Osun State, it's obvious 2 factions of APC are there, 2 factions. Which faction do you belong to?
I don't belong to any faction, like I said.
That means you are outside the fence.
Well, whether outside or on top of the fence.
On top of the fence.
Or below the fence.
Sitting on the fence.
No, actually, I'm not sitting on the fence. I am just.
Sidon Look.
Actually, maybe I am in Sidon Look. And you know, Sidon Look is passive activism, you know?
Okay.
Let me ask you a question. If you found me in the same place as Obishori, wouldn't you slap me upside the head? Thank you.
If you're just joining in the program, the program is still Parrot Xtra on radio, Ayekooto on radio. Muyiwa Ige, architect Muyiwa Ige has been my guest, and he's been Desmond, write them down. The one on bell. Architect, are you? There was a time you were using style for the gubernatorial seat in Osun State. Are you thinking about something?
Because you know, there's some mischief makers. You know when you said, are you on the fence? And I said on top of the fence. There's a group in Osun, they're the top group. So people will not say, because I'm sitting on top of the fence, it's now top. At the top, at the bottom, at the inside, at the whatever. So I've qualified that.
So people that have been using your dad's name, they should
they
stop
can't
using
use it now. How are you going to use it? They'll ask him who killed Bola Ige. So Baba Ayekooto has written.
So technically now, that means you are. So some of these folks in APC, top positions in APC, used to be your father's colleague.
Well, colleagues. Who name them? Colleagues.
Okay, junior colleagues. Junior colleagues. Let me say like Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Okay. So it means that technically you will not have anything to do with them. Am I right?
You're not. You're being a mischief maker. You've asked me a question and I've answered you. If it has to do with my father's matter, God forbid.
So technically, the mere fact that Senator Yolo Mishore is the secretary of the party today, that means you are not going to be part of that party. Yes, no?
Mommy for mommy will be worrying.
Okay. I will ask you once again.
You're lost for words.
I really don't. Are you also one of those agitating for Yoruba State?
Who? Yoruba State?
Yes.
There's nothing like Yoruba State.
Agitating for independent Yoruba State. Republic.
There's true federalism. There's respect for various ethnic nationalities in the country. And so the agitation for autonomy or Yoruba, Oduduwa nation or Yoruba nation, it's well placed.
Okay.
But in the context of Nigeria, let's first even look at, are we practicing true federalism? And the answer is no. So there's need to rejig the system. Let me say something. If you recall, 1998-99, after my dad was released as prisoner of war during the Abacha era, and then he wanted to contest for president, and unfortunately there was the D. Rogan's shenanigans as well. What he wanted to do, if he had been president of Nigeria, was to rejig Nigeria. So you need somebody who would sacrifice himself. That look, in the first 2 years, let's restructure this country and put it back in the right place.
Restructuring.
Yes. It needs, the polity needs to be restructured. The unitary system where everybody needs, if you need toilet paper, you need to go to the center. It doesn't make sense.
Oda, bá ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ yìí, kò sígbà tí a ní máa gbé orúkọ Bọ́lá Ìgè wọlé náà. Ká sọ pé bàbá wà láyé tó ń rí gbogbo kan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ báyìí ní.
Lóògùn tí ẹ lè ṣẹlẹ̀.
Ká rò pé.
Ayé ò lè gba àwọn kan dànkọrú báyìí.
Ibi tó lápẹẹrẹ báyìí, kí ni bàbá ò bá sọ tí wọ́n rí pé irú Lagos Ibadan expressway ẹ máa gbọ́ mi sà. Lagos Ibadan expressway ìgbà táwọn APC tó wà ní federal government sí 8 years lọ́dún mẹ́jọ sẹ́yìn àbọ̀dún méje sẹ́yìn náà fi ṣe campaign pé àwọn máa ṣe tán kí bó ṣe wà yín sìn President Muhammadu Buhari gan ò lè parí títì.
No, but in fairness
ọdún mẹ́jọ
Lagos Ibadan expressway ó dùn òórùn yìí sí yìí.
Àmọ́ wọn ti parí ẹ̀ wọn ti parí ẹ̀ tán.
Wọ́n á parí ẹ̀ ṣé
ọ̀gbọ́n wọn lè ìjọba yóò lè parí ẹ̀ o.
Àwọn kan débẹ̀ láti 1977 but the truth of the matter wọ́n rí ẹ̀ ṣe o ọ̀nà yẹn wọ́n rí ẹ̀ ṣe so.
Wọ́n ti parí ẹ̀ o.
Wọ́n ti parí ẹ̀ but láti challenge dé Ògùdù àbí Òjùdù.
Kókó tí mo fẹ́ mú jáde níbẹ̀ ni pé
ó dùn rí o.
Tí bàbá bá wà láyé wọ́n máa wò pé ọdún mẹ́jọ lẹ fi ń ṣe.
Àyíkò tí ẹ lè ṣẹlẹ̀ because sori politics táwọn play ideology wà
iná ọba
kò ń ṣe pé
omi
olóòtú Ayekooto farabalẹ̀ wọ́n ní ideology wọ́n ní principles ìtàwọn èèyàn ń fò káàkiri ẹ̀ mọ iríwá ògìrìwá ẹ̀ mọ lágbájá ẹ̀ mọ tàmẹ̀dùn wọ́n carry catch up everybody yìí ṣe but wàá dúró síbi tó wà ó ṣe bí òṣèlú ló fẹ́ ṣe ìlú kó lè dá fún ọmọ ẹnìkejì.
Service.
But that's not what we have now, and so we need to go back to that, and then we need to encourage young people to be active. The young population of this country is over 65%. We need to mobilize young people. Can you imagine? 100 million now, 100 million now. Oh, need to run for anything. Why totally no? Why Jackie put that from when KG? But it was like a donation. You know, it was like a fundraiser. How many young people can raise 100 million to even vie for being a president? It's over 35. There are very few 35-year-old people that have 100 million to throw away.
But you just said now that we should encourage young people.
Yes, we have to
be in politics.
Use all
you are keeping away from politics.
No, I'm not keeping away. I said we're all stakeholders.
Yes.
We all have a role to play. You just asked me a question that will I be in the same space with some Lilliputian? And I said no. You mentioned.
So can you let us into some of your plans, political plans for the future?
I'm the chairman of Sidolu today.
Today. So we can't talk about tomorrow. If you have the opportunity to sit down with President Muhammadu Buhari today and you are given the opportunity to ask him just one question or a request, what will you tell him?
Why did we have a plan ab initio?
Why did we have a plan
ab initio?
Okay.
Because the first 18 months they faltered. And we all know that.
The first 18 months that he got into power.
Right. Now, it could very well be that those that put together the plan or the manifesto were not the ones implementing. So, photocopy are easy. When you now begin to try to reinvent the wheel, there's no square wheel. If you have a square wheel, you won't go anywhere. the will will always be round. So that there were probably some missteps along the way, with the benefit of hindsight, playing Monday night quarterback. Okay, but hey, if you say illegal fish, yet a lot.
Yes, a lot. So the about to me, can will be illusion. Ta la fẹ́ sọ kó jẹ̀bi gan ta ṣe leader ni
gbogbo alájẹ̀bi
àwọn tá ń tẹ̀lé wọn àbáwọn tán ṣáájú.
Gbogbo alájẹ̀bi adẹ̀ láti sin àwọn tó ń darí wa nígbẹ́rẹ́ pàkọ́.
Ẹ̀já wò
yóò rọgbọ ìgboro rẹ́rìn-ín.
Ẹ̀já wò pé irú pẹ́rẹ́ pàkọ́ wò fún àwọn tó ń tẹ̀lé àwọn tá ń tẹ̀lé wọn àtàwọn tó ń ṣáájú wa.
Àwọn tó ń ṣáájú wa, I told you earlier, it's all about service. Kẹ́ ṣiṣẹ́ fún ìlú kẹ́ lọ bá local government chairman ní pé ọ̀nà tó ń dán sílé wa ò dáa. Kẹ́ ẹ̀ dẹ̀ make sure pé ara whether inú budget ẹ̀ o kó gbé lọ sí state or whatever tó ti ń fún wọn ní kíni kọ́ make sure wọ́n ṣe. We can have pipe-borne water. We can have power. Now AMCON has taken over IBEDC, so there's probably and then even Transmission Corporation of Nigeria, they're not even transmitting power. So we're in trouble. To your tent, so Israel, you're your own local government. You generate your own power. You provide your own security. You provide your own water. Thank God for God. At least we have air to breathe. God forbid if the air is polluted. What do we do?
Our time is fast spent. I would like to ask you this before we round up. What will you want to pass one or two messages to fellow politicians?
Again, we're in the period of electioneering. We would just like to encourage all those that want to serve, tell us what you want to do. And when you tell us, do it. Unfortunately, and we should also encourage young people, the era of kilobade should be discarded. Kilobade where 5,000 naira, 3,000 naira. Let me break it down. If you collect 5,000 naira from a contestant or be a candidate, that 5,000 naira breaks down to about 13 naira per day. So your work is 13 naira per day. Divided by 4 years, that's 3 naira 25 kobo. So automatic go away, you buy what you write, and then so you have nothing to say because they don't owe you anything. They can come back and say to you that you've collected your own dividend of democracy. But that's not what it's all about. We must look out for the collective good. We must mobilize young people to get out to vote, Go TV, not the TV channel or GOTV, and then also make sure they register. A lot of young people that are on social media are not registered, but there's a groundswell now that young people should be mobilized. In some climes, people are asking folks to pay them to go and register. That's a problem. So there's need for mass mobilization. What's the role of NOA?
Role of NOA.
What's the role of NOA?
In essence, we all must plan to get a permanent voter card.
Absolutely.
And make sure we don't sell or buy votes. It's on this
It's going to be a tough one because it's entrenched. I mean, it happened, but I'm sure
it will be.
It happened.
But well,
sooner or later, the advocacy, we must push the Ayekooto platform, push the advocacy.
Okay, we must round up this show. We thank you once again for making out of time out of no time to be with us on this show. On behalf of management of Splash 105.5 and Lebanon, we thank you. God bless you for being with us on this show.
Can I use this moment to also congratulate the radio station?
Okay.
I mean, I heard 15 years. I thought they'd been here forever. You know? So that means they're doing something well. And I mentioned this to Desmond to the G earlier. The sound quality is extraordinary. And I hope the listeners are also getting the same. The quality of sound that I have in my earpiece here is very good. It means they're doing well. So congratulations, Baba Akode, and all the management and staff and the friends of Splash and Lagelu FM. Well done.
Thank you very much. So on this note, we must end this show. My name is Olayinka Agbola. Till next week, God bless Nigeria. God bless us all.